with the ground. So you basically, in your application for judicial review, so I'm just going to give a background to what judicial review is. So I'm going to do a bit of legal history. So this is what I was taught in law school, and this is one version of how it works. So we have something in this country called the common law system, which is different from Europe in the sense that European law is civil law, which is based on Roman law, whereas our common law system is based on sort of like Anglo-Saxon law of old, where the difference is that the people used to elect their king, and the government was bound by the laws of the land, kind of ish. And you saw that in Magna Carta in 1235. According to Ridley Scott, it was Robin Hood who got King John to sign the charter. So in the Magna Carta, there's clause 39, which talks about life and liberty, that the government can't take away someone's life or liberty without any legal reason. So and if there's a jurist called Blackstone who basically codified the common law, he talks about that. So what it is common law system is that our basic human rights are protected by law. So government can't do whatever they want to do. So if government goes against those basic principles of human rights or civil liberties, then anybody has the opportunity to go to the courts and it's called a judicial review. So the courts could basically look at a government's decision. And when I mean by government, it could be central government, it could be local government, it could be even a public body. So for example, TfL is an example of a public body. The BBC is another example of a public body. You could look at those decisions, or a regulator, for example, look at the decisions and say, had they breached people's human rights or not, and then they could overturn it. So that's one version of how it is. There's different versions. There's an interesting book called The Politics of the Judiciary by J.G. Griffiths, an LSE professor gives a different view, but this is the sort of like the Whig view of history of our legal system, and so that's the principle behind it. So what happened was TfL, a government body, made a decision. UTAG, along with the members, said that it breached human rights, not just of themselves as a licensed taxi driver, but of their passengers, and they brought the case forward. So when you do a judicial review, you have to put an application in, you've got to put what the issue is, and then you've got to give your reasons why the court should overturn the government's decision. And UTAG, you gave 5 arguments, is that correct? And do you want to briefly just go through those 5 arguments that you put forward?
Yeah, sure. I mean, originally we put 6 arguments, and 6 was that Transport for London had, in our opinion, deliberately hidden the management order. It was very, very difficult to find. Usually the TOs are published in the and carried on to this every day, couldn't. And in the end, it topped up that they had put the TMO in a publication, Islington Tribune, that didn't even cover the Bishopsgate area, but this freebie was available in, I'm not making that, Tesco's and an food hall in Bishopsgate. So they said, well, look, we have published it. It was in a publication. So we resist that ground. We had a word with our QC, and he said, look, this is probably the least important ground that we're going after. So, and Transport for London, although we think they are, you know, they are not playing with a straight bat, let's drop that one because the other grounds are far more important. So that's why some people may see that we went after 6, ended up with 5.